Those favor aye. All right, we're adjourned.
Ready?
Hear ye, county board meeting scheduled for April 10th, 2025 at 7 p.m. is now in session.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Take a moment of silent prayer. Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Steve Schonert, Travis Petto, Morgan Hinton, Libby Gibbon, present, Alexis McFarland, present, Brian Van Blarkum,
Present.
Dennis Graves.
Present. Welcome to all our guests this evening. Insurance representatives are here. Good to see you guys. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda?
Motion to the
I would actually like to move finance A to executive. I would make a motion to move finance A to executive. I would make a
second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Any other changes to the agenda? Take a motion to approve.
Motion to approve agenda.
Pardon?
I made the motion to approve the agenda.
Oh,
Probably should have spoken on it, sorry.
yes, I'll
That's on
second that.
All those in favor? Motion passes. All right, under open, we have Seth with Milano and Grunlow here. He would like to talk about. Yeah. Oh, sorry, I missed information, correspondence, and upcoming meetings. Anyone have anything for upcoming meetings?
Blue bag three. Wednesday, April 23rd, we have a 911 board meeting, 9 a.m. at the fire station. Also, nope, maybe just two. And then Thursday, May 1st, public safety meeting at 7 p.m. The second floor in the conference room of the courthouse.
Would you say that was again?
Public safety, it's
May
right after
1st.
the bridge. May 1st.
May 1st.
Yeah.
7 p.m.
And depending on how long the 911 board runs tourism, but I don't know if that's it's in Fairview Heights. We'll see if I get there.
Any other upcoming meetings?
We tentatively have a 7:08 meeting next Wednesday at noon. Haven't discussed with the rest of the committee. We don't have anything really on the agenda. We've been having some speakers. We had an interesting speakers last month, just updating us on both the school mental health and also Mrs. Burke, who runs the counseling center out on the old Burke Law Office. She gave us an update as far as what she sees as far as mental health here in Richland County. So again, we don't have any major items to discuss, but we may arrange for some speakers to come in and just kind of bring us an update on what's going on mental health wise. Pardon? It'll be in the courthouse, second floor conference room.
Any other upcoming meetings? All right. That gets us down to open.
Thanks a lot.
I'll let
So
you
my name is Seth Block, and I'm with Milano Grunlow Engineers, so we're the consultant for EJ Water and the project that the county applied for on behalf of EJ. So that project has started. That grant amount again is the $1.5 million grant. So they've got about 1,200 feet in as of right now. Weather's kind of played a little bit of a factor, but there is a pay estimate number one for approval tonight. That amount is $41,589.67. So that's actually the second page of the handout. The third page should be the unit prices. So that'll have all the units and the items broken down. So if you guys have any questions on that, let us know. So how this kind of works is the board reviews, approves it, and what we will do is once it's executed by the board, we will send that to DCO. What they will do is they will cut a check for the county to put in your account, and then you will cut a check to the contractor. We'll assist you through that process. So, but yeah, you guys are really just a funnel. There's no money, there's no cost for the county, so it's just a funnel in, funnel out. So, anybody have any questions, concerns?
Is that GE on consent that I was referring to?
Yes.
Yes.
And Travis and Amanda have our email and phone numbers, so if you guys have any questions, please pass our numbers on, and we'll be happy to answer any questions.
And if the public has questions, direct them to you or
I
EJ.
would say us or either or.
So since that's covered under consent, then if we approve consent, that's included then. Okay, all right.
Anybody else have questions?
I guess with the weather delays and things, is that going to adjust your tentative outlook for cost or?
No, cost will be, it is fixed. It's a fixed cost.
Okay.
So that's a part of his bid. So he has a certain number of days, which the weather we won't typically hold him to. Obviously, the last week has been a lot of rain, so he actually worked today, believe it or not. So, but I would say the first couple of days this week wouldn't count toward his work time if it came to that, but they have plenty of time, and once they get out in the open and start trenching, they'll probably get 3/4 to a mile a day, and they'll really knock it out. So,
Okay.
Seth, what was your last name?
Flock, that's FLACH.
Are they gonna start by town and then work south, or? how are
So actually on that second page there, not the second page, sorry, the last page, there should be an 11 by 17 map on the back there. So the yellow highlights is approximately what they have done. I apologize, I tried to copy them and they don't show up very well. So that R1 is pretty well complete. That's actually what they just finished up yesterday and today. They did get started on that R3, which is still in Alney Township, and it goes into Claremont. They finished some of R3 and R2. Problem is in between there, it kind of goes down in the bottom, so it's pretty wet down there. So they just did 2 small sections there. They did what they could, and then they'll move back to Alney Township, get that wrapped up, get the taps done, and if weather holds, they'll do what they can to finish Alney, Claremont, and then they'll move south. So.
Any other questions?
Move that we approve the consent agenda items.
Second.
All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
That's your time.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything under open? Okay. Let's roll on to the Finance Committee.
All right, first on claims, I guess, just to proposed on claim, we approved claims. There were some adjustments to your sheet. That bring to your attention. Some of them were minor, so we did have some additions and some changes. Detail sheet here. There was on page 1, there was a CTS technology for $1,244.08, which was a duplicate. So the one here on the county board, $1,244.08 is should be crossed off. Page 2, there is a late claim that's not on your list to O'Reilly to the IT department for some miscellaneous hardware, $9.98. There was under, I think, county clerk, some stuff for Tiger Paws for $110. I don't know if that was just
For election.
for general election items, help there. There was under animal control on page 6, there was some, again, several small claims. A couple to WEX for gas, Visa for, I think that was for some again, they've been doing some hardware installation, computer installation, so I think that was just an item there for the computer. There was Big R for some feed. So there was like $69, $68, $15.83, $25.98. And ARPA, there was a computer that we had approved for EMS to be paid out of ARPA to Dell Technologies for $959.99 that we added. That would be all for, excuse me. And then under the special revenue on page 8, there was again a typo under recorders equipment. It showed 11,450. It should be only 1,145. So that would change there. There was a late claim from the circuit clerk for some additional digitization of court files to GLF being paid out of the automation fund 24 for 24,000. And finally, under public defender on the last page there, page 971, there was again a late claim to Goodwin for some basically miscellaneous stuff, $66. And so basically, that changed the total of county claims to $136,048.71 from what you had, and then the non-county claims, $179,651.84. The Finance Committee did recommend approval of these claims. So I will entertain a motion to approve those claims as adjusted.
We don't have approved claims on our finance agenda. I noticed that on the last ones too. Yeah. So I say, since you guys approved the finance, I assume it's fine, but I don't know if you wanna list that under finance going forward.
I thought it was on there, so yeah, that would be, it should be under there. I guess that's in the form of a motion to approve the claims.
Need a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye. Next item is 7A to discuss pay rate adjustments and annual review of animal control officer. Basically,
Well, I just moved.
7B is what we moved to executive session.
Well, the pay rate and adjustments, correct, is what needs to go to executive. So we can only talk about the vacation part.
Right. We're not. Basically, the pay rate, again, we're not going to be discussing that. at this point anyway, I don't believe. So 7B will go into executive session. 7A, Andrea brought to the public safety's attention that when she was, again, our policy for vacation is that we can only accrue 40 hours carryover of vacation. And that's in our employee benefit handbook. We also, in our employee handbook, comp time is not, is vague as far as how that's supposed to be handled. And that's a point that we need to upgrade and improve our employee policy handle. But if you look at the union contract for courthouse employees, basically comp time can only, there's 40 hours of comp time that can be carried over into the following year. But according to the union contract, anything not used is to be above 40 hours carry over is to be paid out at the end of the year. And so again, that's one of the in the paragraph in the union contract for courthouse employees. And so Andrea was looking at her, is getting ready to go on leave under Family Leave Act. And she was looking at that and saw that basically her vacation time, she had accrued 112 hours of vacation time by the end of the year and did not use that. She was using comp time instead of vacation time to take time off. And so when it came to the end of the year, she had 112 hours of vacation time that had not, that she had accumulated during the year 2024. And then basically at the end of the year, since only 40 hours could be carried over, 72 hours of that vacation time disappeared. We had basically use it or lose it for vacation time. And so with the end of the year not being used, her 112 hours then basically was whacked down to 40 hours of vacation time that will be able to, that was carried over. She had accumulated approximately 113 hours of comp time by the end of the year. And again, only 40 hours of that can be carried over. So that would have left then, just calculate that. Comp time carryover of, let me get that calculated here. $73.25 hours of comp time that basically was unused by the end of the year. Now, again, our employee policy handbook is really silent on comp time, but the union contract for courthouse employees says that will be paid out as of the end of the year. And so in looking at that, Public Safety Committee looked at that, and we did not come to any conclusion that I'm aware of.
No, good question. Did she have a copy of the union contract?
I'm not aware if she did or not.
So that was really the things, like if she didn't know. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right, she wasn't aware of that, yes, but vacation is use it or lose it. Basically, so I know we didn't, there were still some questions that we had at our last Public Safety Committee meeting, and we didn't have one this month. And so the Finance Committee ended to discuss this a little bit during our Finance Committee meeting, but we were trying to decide what to do, that she had basically was going to lose this vacation time, and then had asked, well, initially she asked to allow the comp time to be carried over, where our policy says only 40 hours can be carried over. So we were discussing how to rectify the situation, or what we should do in this situation. And so, we discussed this at finance committee meeting just to get some thoughts on the matter. But basically, what I was proposing, and the reason why it's on the agenda, that we would go ahead and pay her out for this unused vacation time. That was basically going to be taken away, plus the excess comp time, which again, according to the union contract, would be paid. Total hours would be 72 hours of vacation time that basically was written off or would have been lost. And then comp time in excess of 40 hours was 73.25 hours. So for a total of 145 hours, 145.25 hours of additional time, which includes comp time and vacation time, which in dollars at her rate was $2,759.75. As far as the discussion during finance committee, there was a question. Policy says use it or lose it for vacation. The union contract does say that you pay out comp time, the employee benefit policy or standard county employee benefit employee manual does not really address the comp time. And so there was a question whether or not, since it was clearly in the employee manual that basically vacation was use it or lose it, whether or not we should pay her for the lost vacation time since she didn't use it. Whereas in the comp time, there was at least consensus, I think, to go ahead and pay the comp time 73 hours, 0.25 for, since it is at least stated in the union contract, again, it's silent, it doesn't really address it in the employee policy manual. So that was the two thoughts, I guess, in our discussing our finance committee meeting. I will go ahead and make a motion, and then we can discuss it if it's a second, that we basically go ahead and pay her for the lost vacation and comp time, 145 hours, 145.25 hours, for a total of $2,759.75. And the reason, well, I'll wait for a second and then discuss why I believe that.
Second.
Discussion?
Okay, again, the county does not have a good way of tracking vacation and comp time carryovers. We've discussed that. I know that's one of the items on my to-do list, to try to get a report that we can review, that we can send out and have all the office holders review, that lists these carryovers and calculates this time. We don't have that. We've basically, each office, and really it's up to the individual to keep track of that and keep track of how much time they've accumulated. It's up to them, since it's in the policy manual, that they should be aware of the use it or lose it policy. We don't really discuss it that much. And again, we don't address it. Basically, the Public Safety Committee, along with this board, basically is Andrea's supervisor, and we've never really, even though we see her time reports and see her accumulation of comp time, we don't really discuss vacation carryovers. We don't tell her that you're going to lose it if you don't use it by the end of the year. So we've left that up to her to keep track of that. Now, I guess she is here. I didn't realize she was here.
She's here.
So I don't know if you were not aware of the use it or lose it, or.
I thought the personal days were only what you lost. I thought everything else rolled over. That was my assumption, but then when I went back to reread stuff, that's when I figured out the vacation does not roll over, but the sick time does.
So anyway, we're not clear on that. There's, again, the policy manual, again, that's an electronic form, so it's not something we have. We don't have a lot of discussion on that. I'm not sure when she was hired what was mentioned as to a use it or lose it policy. Again, we leave it up to the employees and to the office holders to keep track of that. This board has not really been monitoring that. So anyway, because of those circumstances, again, I believe that we need to get that report in place so that we can track situations like this. And I'm just wanting to go ahead and, because it's just some confusion and that we don't have good reports that bring that out as far as what's being accrued and so on, that we go ahead and pay her for that difference. So.
I have a question. So you do have a copy of the employee manual, right? Okay. And since she's not a part of the union contract, I don't know if that really applies here.
Right.
Okay.
It just, it explains the comp time. We don't have.
Yes, the comp time is a gray area. The employee manual is very clear on the vacation time.
2 years ago, this is several, you guys weren't here, like I think Steve, Travis and Cindy. So Brian, myself and Dennis, years ago, we talked about looking at like an HR third-party system specifically for kind of hourly reporting as well as like vacation sick, all that type of stuff. So this would kind of be another situation where it would be helpful to have such a software in place so it can kind of keep track of hours and, you know, once that end of fiscal year hits, then it just automatically gets paid. And so that might be something again to take a look at. I tried to look at my emails to see, because it wasn't cheap per se, like it wasn't free by any means. So that's kind of why we dropped it last time, but.
Do you think we should discuss an IT or? I don't know.
Couldn't hurt. I mean,
Okay.
it's kind of a software thing, I guess. We don't really have a good human resource
Right.
person. I mean, almost like.
If I may chime in here, I mean, we don't have to reinvent the wheel with this. Most companies have this type of software. I mean, it can be something as simple as a spreadsheet. And I will add on a more personal note, just to Linda Andrea's argument here and getting her paid. I've honestly, I've never worked for a company that did not tell me every paycheck what my vacation time was that I had accrued and what my PTO was that I had accrued, as well as towards the end of the year when we were coming up on crunch time, if there was a no rollover policy or if only so many days rolled over where I wasn't being notified, hey, you have excess days, you need to use these. So really, I think that's incumbent on the county to do that for their employees, because I mean, a lot of people already have enough things to worry about. And like Steve was explaining, those numbers aren't exactly front and center. So it's really easy to lose track of them. So, but yeah, so there is definitely software out there, and it doesn't have to be complicated and it doesn't have to be incredibly expensive. I will get with, Becky, if with your guys' blessing, I'll get with Becky next week and we can discuss how to maybe extract that data, since we're already running payroll. Then the data is there. We just need to capture it and make it useful.
So I keep track. Each girl keeps track, I keep track, and quarterly we go over it, make sure we're on the same page. I'm sure Chelsea does the same thing.
Yep, absolutely. I'm just saying what I was getting at is that's not standard. So the standard would be to provide that information with a pay stub. Again, this is just based on my own experience working for companies. I certainly keep track of it on my own, but I know not everybody is necessarily capable of doing that. And I think it's a very easy problem to solve. So, again, that was my argument, was on a personal thing. The big takeaway is we can fix this moving forward.
Well, sure.
My vacation time, or just use the comp time in place of vacation time. And, my goal was to save the county money, but since I used the comp time instead, it just saved my vacation time, but then I realized later on, kind of thinking about it doesn't roll. So I technically used it, but then I would have had more comp time.
I can kind of agree with Tori on, you know, if we're not giving them a clear,
Yeah.
here's the timeline of what's going away. Especially since like, she doesn't have that, she doesn't have those numbers reported to her, so she can't inform her employees or herself those things, so I kind of blend with Steve and Corey on that.
Yeah, maybe there's a way we can update that for all non-officer supervised. Or if you don't have like a direct report, we can get everybody kind of on the same way. I don't imagine it's gonna be very expensive to do that.
Since the employee manual is clear on vacation, are we opening a can of worms there? Chelsea?
And I think the people would definitely have an argument to get how to, especially if they have been told all along.
Currently they don't because it's very specific, but
I don't know if this is a good situation all around.
I guess, Danny, you've got several employees. I mean, is that an issue with you as far as like a vacation or use it or lose it, or do you have much comp time or overtime, or how does your office handle that?
Well, at the highway, I've got someone that tracks it monthly and, you know, has it up to date every month. Shelby does that and has, since she's been out there 30 years. So anybody, and she reminds people at the end of the year, she reminds myself and the crew, hey, you still got personal days. Hey, you got this much vacation, so I have an office manager who manages that for us and as part of her job and keeps track of it for us.
And then Andy, as far as your office,
We're the exact same way. We have an Excel spreadsheet set up, the guys or have access to a report every month that shows them how much time they've got accrued, how much time they need to take within the year. And as we get towards the end of that time, we're constantly on them to make sure they get their time. So they're only carrying over what the contract allows them to. I mean, it's pretty simple for us. I mean, I think it's covered everywhere except for when they answer, the employees that answer to the board. And that's two employees, Corey and Andrew, I think. That's the only two places it's not really covered.
so again, I think we just have a weakness. Again, it was an oversight. We should have caught that. We did not, and so I don't think it's fair for Andy to receive that penalty since we kind of failed on our end. So again, that's why I'm proposing we go ahead and pay that out.
any other discussion? Okay, I'd like a roll vote on this one, please.
So I do have another question. So Andrea and Corey are not covered under any contract. They are non-union. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They're non-union. Nothing. Okay.
Long as they have an official that oversees them, they don't do the answer directly to you.
Danny fits under that category, right?
Yeah.
He's over the department.
Well,
he's
But he's not.
But I'm thinking, well, his department's also non-union. That's what I guess I'm referring to as.
Yeah, again, he's not elected, but he's been over that whole unit and he takes care of the people under him, make sure that they're fulfilling what the county has asked them to do, we're asking him to do.
Any other discussion? Call
You want to ask the question again?
roll. What was the
Motion to pay all
Okay.
last time.
motion to pay all of Andrea's lost time at 145.25 hours?
Dennis Graves,
Yes.
Brian Van Blarkum,
Yes.
Alexis McFarland. Cindy Gibbon,
Yes.
Morgan Hinton,
Yes.
Travis Paddock,
Yes.
Steve Stoner.
Yes. That's all of the finance committee. Again, we'll go with 7B, executive session.
All right, that gets us to the sheriff's report.
Before I go, did we would do consent?
Yeah.
Brian. Okay. Gotcha. First up is our radio project, what that is for several years, I guess, well, ever since I've been here, we've had an ineffective radio, two-way radio system for police services, as well as fire services, just the communication back and forth to just within our own unit, as well as our dispatch, as well as interoperability between all units. So we've been having a discussion probably for the past year on how to upgrade our radio system within our county. What we come up with, the best way to do that is possibly have two repeaters, two DMR repeaters that have 4 talk channels on it, and have those repeaters stationed periodically throughout the county, maybe 5 to 10 different sites. Currently, we don't have repeaters except for the one on the Ludlow Tower. So once we get past so many miles out of Alney, our portables often do not work when we're outside of our units. Now, the county has repeaters with their state cars, which causes a lot of issues too. When you get more than one car in a location, they walk over each other. So guys gotta remember to turn 1 or 2 off and leave 1 on. Or if we get outside of our cars, you get so far away from our cars that our portables still don't work because they won't reach the repeater in the car. There's a lot of times we'll have to get maybe on a side-by-side and go down into river bottoms or without radio communications, period. So we feel the best option of that is put repeater sites throughout the county. Most of our surrounding counties already have it. We just never have in our county. So with that, we've presented, or I've emailed to Amanda, RFP, request for proposal, to try to get bids on what it would cost from different vendors to put this system in our county. We currently have county side, $350,000. We have a little more than that, but we're not spending it all based off maybe some mobiles and equipment that we have to buy. And Richland County Emergency Telephone System Board has also budgeted $300,000, so we have $650,000 currently for that project. We believe with this RFP, we could move forward with that project, maybe not put all 8 to 10 sites that we want, but maybe 5, 6 sites to improve what we have currently. What that will do is that will give a countywide fire channel, so any of the fire departments can get onto that channel and be able to talk anywhere in the county to one another, as well as talking to law enforcement. That'd give the sheriff's office a countywide law enforcement channel. That would give the city police a countywide law enforcement channel. And it would give 911 an emergency channel to where if we had a natural disaster, instead of tying up our normal day-to-day traffic with sheriff and normal day-to-day traffic with only, we'd have a separate channel we could go on to deal with that disaster specifically with. And again, if we had enough repeaters out there, it would be a countywide system for those channels. The total project was about $1.1 million to buy all the sites that we thought we needed, as well as the radio, mobiles, and portables that we felt we needed. We got 650. We believe we can get started with that. We've also applied, and part of the things I gave you today was a letter in support to Congressman Boss. He has a community project funding grant that we are in the process of applying for, and we need letters of support from the county board, from the fire chiefs, from the city. If we're able to get that grant, we're hoping it'll be kind of a matching grant. We got 650, or we're applying for $500,000. So our goal was to get that from him and have enough to do the whole project. But we believe that we can get started with at least more additional sites than what we got in the county with the 650 we got, which will drastically improve our radio communications, not only within the sheriff's office, but also our interoperability between all the agencies in Richland County. We would all be on a digital frequency. We'd all have the radio equipment to be able to talk back and forwards. Even if it meant just changing the channel to their channel, and then we'd also have an emergency channel we could go to if we were all working a particular disaster. So the RFP you all have, hopefully you had a chance to review it. Chelsea had the opportunity to look over it. I believe she was okay with it. I don't want to put words in her mouth. But if you all are good with that, I want to then put that RFP out to vendors, to start the process of bidding process of getting bids on what they propose to do for us and how much that would cost. Number one.
I have a question that's more for information for everybody else, because I sit on both of the board. I know the answer. Sheriff, not doing the project, what's the coverage like?
Again, like I said, outside of the city of Olney,
Right.
about 5 miles out of the city of Olney, our portables do not work very well. Our squads, our mobiles, which is in your squad car, works anywhere in the county. At least 99% of it. But once you get out of those squad cars and you're talking on a portable, you're relying on the repeater in that car if you're close enough to it or there's no interference with it. If the city police comes out and helps us and the fire department's helping us on traffic, we got no communication between the two. They have their own frequency over Noble, which is kind of reserved for that area. Claremont has their own frequencies that's kind of repeated in their area. But there's no countywide repeater system that allows their channel to work in Claremont fires or Claremont's to work in Claremont. Or even for us, city police come out and help us, their radios are dead in the water. They rely on us being there to help communicate there. We have no interoperability like we should have in this county, and that's what we're trying to fix. Our last radio upgrade was 2012, maybe, when we narrow banded. We did upgrade then, but we didn't expand our repeater system. And we just bought new radios that meet the narrow banding standards, and those are outdated now too. They're 12, 13 years old and should be replaced as well. Equipment don't last like it used to. I mean, used to buy a radio and it lasts for 30 years, just not the case anymore with technology. We work ourselves out of it, but all we're looking for now is to spend or to move this project forward, to get bids, to spend no more than what we currently have in the 650,000. With hopes by the end of the summer, we will hear something from this grant. And if we get that grant, then we can complete the project as we see that we feel that it should be in our county to have 95 to 96% portable coverage everywhere in the county. Never gonna get 100%, and most radio people will tell you that. There's gonna be areas that you just won't have, but 95% is much greater than what we currently have.
Sheriff, I do have a follow-up question. If we just skip these, let's say, how many for the grant, or without the grant, is it 2?
With what money we have,
Yeah,
we might be able to do 5 sites with that money.
okay, so,
We would like to have 10 sites covered, is where we have.
yeah, that's that part. Where would, you know where those would go, or you just kind of see?
We have different
Okay.
areas in the county.
Yeah.
We have a specific area, and we're putting them on water towers. All of our villages that have water towers, we're trying to keep it on government owned. Now, there are some towers like EJ Water, Rural Water, that we'll have to approach and ask if we can use their towers as well. In the northeast part of the county, there's nothing up there, so we're gonna have to reach out to farmers for grain legs. But for the most part, most of these we have earmarked for water towers, either EJ Water owned or government owned as far as villages such as that. 10 sites is what we'd like to have. That's our wish list. We could get there with that grant. We probably wouldn't get there without it. But the RFP is the first step for that, and it's presented to you all. And we also have, I think, Amanda, did you print the letter, support letter, so you all have a copy of that? We would request the chairman to sign, just showing that he is in support of this project, or this board is in support of it.
So parliamentarian, do we need like a motion to
So
approve
it's,
support?
Except the other.
Okay. So,
So we need a motion to accept the RFP.
second, yeah,
All those in favor?
Well, I do have some questions,
all
yeah.
right.
Just to understand the scope of this, so this is for the sheriff's office, it includes new radios for the sheriff's.
He does not spend money. We're spending 350,000. We still have probably 100,000 money available to us to buy equipment if this other grant doesn't come through.
Right, so that would be included in the 1.1 million.
Yes.
Would include new radios
Yes.
for us, for the city.
City, fire, everyone.
Okay, so I had like sheriff's office. What about road and bridge? Or is that
It's
you?
not including them.
I mean, is that something that could, or is that something is?
have their own radio frequency system. Don't know if it's countywide or not, for sure.
Our antenna, repeater and transmitter was all replaced like a year, 18 months ago. Some of our mobiles and stuff are old, but, yeah, I can relate to what the sheriff's saying. When they narrow banded, it cut our radius of communication in half. When they narrow banded the frequencies. When I came here 20 years ago, you could be in a mobile unit in Effingham and you could hit our repeater and talk back and forth from Effingham. And if we're kind of centrally located, once we get to the county line, and we don't have to go out to the county very often, but it starts to get a little, sketchy. It cut narrowband, it cut us coverage in half easily. But I have, like I say, we have a new radio, new repeater, new antenna. So it's a different system than what fire, ambulance, and sheriff has, but it's working.
Well, I know it's working, but if we're getting this grant, I mean, would it be best thing for the county to go ahead and have the same radio system? Or is that not kosher?
They're neat with there have to be a discussion because the emergencies, the sheriff can talk to this, but when emergencies are going on, life and death emergencies, they don't want anybody walking over the traffic. They don't want to hear in the dispatch office me telling some guy to bring me out a load of rock or something like that if they're, so they don't want us walking over their traffic or picking it up, when they're dealing with emergencies, and you can elaborate on that.
And that's true. In order to put him on a talk channel, we would need a third repeater instead of the two that we're getting. To have his own separate channel to where he's not working off a fire channel or a police channel or emergency channel. That would be expensive to put a third repeater to 10 different sites. As far as portable radios, I mean, he could have radios that were capable of turning on to our system. And in a natural disaster or man-made disaster or any kind of disaster, if he was at a command center with us and directing his people to do things, he could have radios that could talk to our people under that emergency channel, but not necessarily a countywide system strolling for himself without adding a third repeater to it.
Okay. So you're saying that it would add rather than 1.1 million, maybe 1.4 million or something?
It could go up considerably if they put 10 more repeaters out there, one at each site. Buying the portable radios and the mobile radios may not be, to where maybe him or the supervisor would have access to our communications channel. Do you have it now, Danny? Can you turn your radio?
Not anymore.
Yeah.
No,
Was your new system, was it digital or was it analog, the one you just currently purchased?
I can't tell you. Our portables got age to them. They're over 10 years old.
Either way,
Yeah.
we could get him portables if nothing else. And if we build a system that is 95% covered with portables, those portables could assist him in talking to us in an emergency. On whatever channel we selected him to go on to do that. Or if we're working a natural disaster and we're working off the emergency services channel that we're creating, then he'd be able to communicate with us and the command center and whoever else on that channel.
Okay.
Using those radios.
Well, I guess ideally, if you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. So I'm trying to decide whether or not we should go ahead and ask for it. If we don't get it, then just say, well, that's
But again,
That's
that
where we
RP
draw the
there
line.
does not for purchasing mobile portable radios. That RP there is just for the infrastructure in the county.
but it includes the repeaters, all right?
That's the infrastructure in the county.
So if we're asking for 10 more repeaters,
I see what you're saying. If you're wanting to add 10 more, it's a significant, I don't know where you're coming with that money, but I mean.
well, like I said, if you don't ask for it, you don't get it. But I'd rather.
It would be a significant amount more. Each repeater site with the two that we're doing is about $92,000. This is what, just a rough estimate we got from the radio people. So honestly, you got to have the power to them. You got to have cabinets and repeaters, and they're just a lot of expense to each site. I would say each site would probably be another $20,000 to $30,000, so $200,000 to $300,000 more to put a third repeater out there.
And you mentioned this is a matching from Moss.
That's what we're applying for. We're applying for a $500,000 grant. I don't know if he'll give us 100,000, 200, or 500,000, but we're applying for a $500,000 request, which we considered matching, even though we got 650.
Which, so it'd be difficult to get a matching portion from our end if you were talking about increasing it by another 300 or something.
I mean, it's possible.
Like I said, I don't know. I mean, if you don't ask for it, you're not gonna get it. And so he says, well, no, we can't give you a million. We can only give you $500,000. Well, we can, if $500,000 is what we kind of said was our minimum, then fine, we'll just not do ideally, but I was just thinking,
We can always, I don't know that the grant specifically says it has to be matching. So that's just where the approach we were taking at it, because we were told by the grant writers that anytime that you can do a matching grant, they're more apt to support the project.
Definitely.
Simply because they show that you've got the money as well, and they're not just funding it all. We can certainly ask for more, but
This is for the portables, like that you carry on your body, so that you can talk anywhere in the county and pick it up. And for what we do out there, we have portables, but we use those for flagging. And we're only like, we're an eighth of a mile apart. We don't need a repeater on ours for that. And our repeater works with our mobile units. In the big natural disaster scheme of things, we do have a plan. I mean, what would happen? I will come to the command center. Supposedly it'll be here if it's not destroyed. I'll have a portable, and my portable will reach our repeater out at the highway garage. And the guys we have generator power out there, and I can talk to my guys from the command center with a portable. But for the work I do, I don't need the type of communication. We're gonna be either in a truck or in a tractor or in a backhoe, and we all have mobile units in there. And those work with our repeater. So like I say, the portable units, I just need to be able to talk line of sight when we're flagging back and forth, basically.
okay, that's what I wanted.
And just to add on to that, again, I think that money in there would probably still allow us to give them 3 to 5 portables that has this system on it. Where when they weren't using theirs, or if they needed to call dispatch for some reason, they could use that other portable if it's covering 95% of the county. And they can pass them out to whomever. Part of that we have, we're also, put portables in there to give to each of the schools. Well, the schools have bought their own new system, which ours will work with, so they no longer need portables from us. We also added for the ambulance. The ambulance in this county works off Starcom, so they have no way to communicate with us except for our dispatch center. So we budgeted in there also to have one of those portable radios for each one of the ambulance within our county. So those EMTs would have at least a radio they can make contact with us out on the street if they needed to. And that's all in that already. So I honestly think if he doesn't need a countywide constant, that we could get him the equipment that he could use in the event that he would need to contact dispatch.
Okay, that's what I wanted clarification on. Okay, all right. I didn't know if we're missing out on a potential opportunity, but it sounded like it'd just be kind of it'd be really nice, but not really.
Over what we truly
Yeah,
need.
overkill. Okay.
Oh,
That's,
I have a question. So it goes from like wherever, like Starcom, like everybody uses P25? Or
Starcom and P25 is different.
well, that's
P25.
no, I because I said on those words. What I'm saying is like everybody would have P25.
P25 is a digital. Our radios that we're gonna get.
Oh, okay, got it.
P25 and DMR capable. Starcom is completely different. It works on an 800 megahertz. It's much different than the regular VHF that we'd be working off of. It is a subscription only through Verizon. So like Jasper County went to Starcom radios. So they pay for each mobile, each portable they have, they pay probably $20, $30 a month forever to have that. It's just not feasible. It doesn't work that well in our county. The towers are put up by Motorola. They own the system. And the towers aren't in our area. We don't have the coverage here for Starcom like we should have. I mean, he has a Starcom radio with the ILEAS team that he's the commander on. And when he has it in the building here, he has no service here. I mean, so Starcom is probably not the best option for us. Now, it's good for us to have a couple Starcom radios around. Our dispatch center does. And he has one with his team he's on, and it wouldn't hurt to have one or two. Maybe supervisors could have in the event of a natural disaster or amendment, whatever, that we would have that capability to talk out in the field as well. ILEAS, I don't know if you're all familiar with ILEAS, but it's basically a Illinois law enforcement alarm system. It's a mutual aid agreement between all law enforcement They have what they call an iTech trailer. It's full of radios. So if there was a natural disaster here and not anywhere else, they could bring that trailer here and pass out radios and we'd all be cross-banded and connected and take them a couple hours to get here, hours or 2 hours. But problem with that is if Crawford County gets it, Lawrence County gets it, Richland County gets it, if all these counties get hit at once on a tornado or something, there's not enough to go around for everybody on that, so. But, I mean, it is an option, we have it out there, but we have been in need of a system in this county for years. And we've just never done it, and now we have funding that we can use, and I feel like we should, I mean.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Are you good with the motion like it is? All right, all those in favor? Motion passes.
All right, next thing on my agenda is squad car repairs. We had a squad car go down, 2015. It is the squad car we purchased from Lincoln County after one of our other squads were wrecked. So we lost the transmission in that squad car. To replace that transmission is about $5,100. It's a 2015, it's got 160-some thousand miles on it. So that's the option we got, we can replace it. Our squad car repair budget right now is beyond what we budgeted because everything that we've spent $4,000 this month, I think, on squad maintenance. So that $5,000 will be a big chunk put into an old vehicle. You all have in my budget for me to purchase a new vehicle. We ordered that vehicle last year. I was told in March it's being made. We ordered it through Miles Chevrolet, for the state bids. Should be available to us in June. If we bought that vehicle, we could probably get by, until then, but what we'd like to do is maybe replace this 15 went out with something anywhere from a 15 to 2020. Chicago Motors, where we bought some of our other used vehicles. Have some available. The equipment from the 15 would fit into those vehicles, most of them would. The vehicle that is, the transmission went out was an old canine vehicle. So we'd have to buy cages, take the canine unit out and put front and back cages, so we'd need additional money. So if you had like maybe $30,000 laying around that you want to give me to buy another vehicle to replace this one that went out of service, or to replace the tranny in this one, or just hold our breath and get by and get this one in June, and as long as nothing else goes down, maybe we can survive. But what I'm here asking, do you have money, do you have extra money that you would like to give for us to purchase another vehicle to replace the one that's tranny went down, so we're not putting $5,000 into a vehicle with a lot of high miles that engine could be next, who knows?
Well, I know you like matching. Can you meet us anywhere? You got anything in yours?
I got no money to match it yet. I mean, not laying around. I mean, there's local grants maybe I can ask for.
Yeah,
And see if they would be willing to commit some of that funding.
but you haven't looked anywhere. You haven't looked anywhere.
I haven't looked for
Okay.
any grants, no.
Okay.
Just trying to make a determination what to do with this 2015. I'm not at the point where I want to spend $5,000 to it because we're already over budget in our squad maintenance. That's going to put us way over budget, and by the end of the year, we'll be extremely over budget. And we're putting money into a car that's good.
Where does that one rank as far as the oldest vehicle?
It is the oldest vehicle. Well, we have a 2013 that we put a training motor in several years back. That's probably got 50,000 miles on it that we use as a spare. So we have a 2013 a lot, but we don't use it for anything use. Now, we could have to use that one in the meantime until this one in June comes in. Not likely because we have a cadet that's going to the academy, but he drives a Black Impala that's got no equipment in it. That's what he'll be driving back for the academy. He won't graduate till August, September. So I believe the 2025 would be in and probably on the road before he would even. If we get that one on the road, we have one right now, the 2021. You all purchased used for me with ARPA money in December. It is being uplifted now, upfitted now in Owensboro. It has 52,000 miles on it. It's a 2021. When we get it back, we'll have it. I mean, just right now, we're a little short because that one's down there. And we have this one out of service. And we can get by, I think, but I would prefer to buy another used vehicle if I could. But it's gonna cost probably 20 to 30,000.
Did you get that grant for your radio,
The cameras,
cameras?
don't know yet. They did send some paperwork to us this week asking us to readjust some things. I mean, I feel positive about it. Sounds good. but they haven't awarded it yet. And our grant writer went in and adjusted what they asked her to do, and so I think that's a positive sign, but can't say that for sure. We do have another 2015 that has 175,000 mile on it. That I will end up driving just to keep it going long until next year. As part of this plan, I mean, if.
So the new one does have to be outfitted for canine?
No.
No? All right, I thought
When you say the new one, which one are you referring to? The 2025 that we got
no,
ordered?
no, the one that we're trying to get 30,000 right now.
No, the vehicle that the transmission went out is a canine vehicle, that's an old canine vehicle.
Okay, don't need that.
But we will take that out of it because we have a different canine vehicle already in
Okay.
2021. But in order to do that, we'll then have to buy a front and back screen for the new one we're purchasing. Most of the equipment will go into the new one or the used new one.
Mhm.
But there will still be some expenses of removing it all out of the one that's wrecked. What we don't have, purchasing and then putting it all back into the one we were gonna buy. And I would say that's gonna cost us anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000. I don't have a solid number on that, but the cars that we found online in Chicago Motors are around the 20,000 range. But the goal is to find one, same model of this one, so most of the equipment will switch over.
My opinion is public safety's meant for this type of stuff. We've gotta, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm speaking out of turn. Public safety does seem to have a pretty steady balance in it. Looking at your graph that you sent out. According to the mayor, sales taxes, they've been pretty steady for them over the last, few months. And that fund will continue to get replenished with that 0.5%. So, I mean, I wouldn't be against trying to come down that safety fund for this example versus spending 51 on a 15, basically the oldest one in the fleet with 160. This current one that's down.
It's right at 100, maybe over, but
Yeah, I'd rather not spend 0.5 in the
Right.
one that's getting ready to hit the door.
I will tell you, we have another 2015 that's an everyday patrol vehicle with 175,000 on it. It's a Silverado, hopefully. To go with on Amy's 60,000 there. So you guys think about 160,000 miles, you go look at engine hours on that vehicle, it's way more than probably the pickup has with 177,000, because that thing ran all the time. When we had a canine. Well, yeah. Good point to that, and it was a canine vehicle in Wayne County as well prior to us getting there.
As Morgan said, we have about 550,000, I think, in the public safety fund, and we do have sufficient cash in the general fund. The only issue is it's not budgeted. Again, we don't have to technically have a public hearing on the budget unless we go over in total, and it's too early to tell whether or not we'll go over in total. I think it will be tighter this year. We had a lot of cushion in the past. I think it will be tighter. So worst case scenario, if we were to approve it toward the end of the year, we may have to have a public hearing to amend the budget. We probably would know that probably in September on how things are going. So worst case scenario, we might have to have a public hearing to amend the budget for the potential possibility that we may exceed budget what was originally approved in our original budget. So
What are you looking for?
Is it feasible to tell Chicago that you've got favorable opinions and get some official price for us next month?
Oh, absolutely.
And
I mean, I can give you a price off of the website. The packed vehicles that we purchased from them, they don't negotiate a lot. They come down $500 to $900,000, or $500 to $900. So it's not going to be much less than what they've got posted online.
I'm just saying that because, I mean, we got squad car repairs listed, but I don't know, we should technically approve a purchase at this point. But
Yeah, we really need to.
Well, I can tell you, in my budget, I have 75,000 for the purchase of a new squad car. That money is for the new one coming 2025. I can use that now. And as we get to June, see where things are and whether you not want to give then. I mean, I just don't want to be stuck buying this one and not being able to get to 2025, because if we don't buy a squad every year, we're getting the shape we're in right now. We need a budget every year to have the replacement of one squad car at the bare minimum every year. And we went a couple of years and not bought one, so we get in a spot where
that was just due to supply, right? Like we tried.
some of it was and some of it was not. I mean, we've had, like in 2020, we didn't buy any, 22, we didn't buy any. Some of it was supply because of COVID, you couldn't get your hands on anything other than used stuff, and that's why we started buying again.
So you said they've got 2015 to 2020s. I assume you've looked at more than one up there,
They have
or
3 or 4 online, yes. I think they had a couple of 2020s, had a 2018. I think they even had a 2015, just like this one up there. I'm not sure that I want to go with the 28. It had a lot less miles, so, but we don't know where it's come from, what it's done, but I would like to find somewhere in the 2018 to 2020 range with 50, 60,000 miles on it, something like that, if we can. The ones up there, again,
Well, that's what we looked at, was 70,000 miles on it. The end of 20, but like Andy says, all that stuff, the lights, and 90% of that stuff will swap over except for the cage. If you get into the next lifestyle, you're buying all new lights, all new docking stations, and all that, because it's all a whole lifestyle change.
so you can't go much newer. And there's not many on there that's much newer anyways.
So what do you propose to do with the one with the tranny out then?
So, or whatever.
So
somebody
that's, this is a government deal in Chicago, so there's no trade.
They would trade, they would give you.
It's not worth anything.
I mean, you'd have to ship it up there. And if you cost you more, I think you'd be better off telling it outright, somebody here will buy it. For
Okay.
parts, that, and it would cost us to ship it up there, or tow it up there, or haul it up there, and then they're not gonna give you $500 for it. I mean, you probably spend more money getting up there than they like to give you. I mean, but they do buy junk vehicles like that, they're all over their lot, but they're not gonna give you money for it.
So it's not that you don't have a scheduling problem, so everybody's got a vehicle that needs a vehicle, just that they're driving a pretty old vehicle.
Currently, yeah. We have a deputy that's injured on workman's comp. Kevin's driving his vehicle while he's off. He'll be back at the end of May. At the end of May, what'll happen is someone will have to go into that 2013 as a day-to-day patrol vehicle. It's got 206,000 miles on it, but again, it's got a new engine and training in it with about 50 to 60,000. But someone will have to go in that one to get on by until we got the new one in 2025, the new one coming in June. Once we got that one and got it upfitted, then that 13 would then become a spare again. As we currently sit.
What year are the resource officers?
2017, both of them. 2017 Silverados. One's got 130,000, the other's got right about 90,000 on it.
so you could get us a number for the next meeting. On
I can
what
give you a price, yeah, I'll probably get close to that right now. I mean, it's gonna cost 20,900 or something like that online. But I would have to figure out what equipment we'd have to purchase, what would transfer over, and then get our upfitter to tell me what it would cost to decommission that one and put all that equipment into one.
As far as I'm concerned, I would be comfortable with you doing that because I would support that if that's where you're looking, that's how we're feeling.
Sounds like we have potentially the money.
Yeah, that was. my
We've got the
concern.
cash, it just, like I said, we could be looking at a public hearing to amend the budget.
I'm comfortable with the public hearing for buying squad cars.
Right.
I mean, do you know what your not to exceed number would be? So that if we want to go ahead.
Say it again, I can't talk. What was the question?
What would be your not to exceed number if we were to approve a number tonight? What would you need to go ahead and so that you could go ahead and process and get the vehicle? We'll go ahead and order.
We wouldn't have this, it won't go over 30,000. like coffee. It's like coffee bar. And 30,000 would be at most that we would spend on a vehicle,
Okay,
at most. I mean, cause that one up there's 20,000. I don't think it'll take 10 to switch them over and find what we need. Probably, I mean, it could take a little spot. But no more than 30 for certain.
So. Sit on it for a month and then
I would say sit on it and
put it on the agenda,
put it on the agenda to vote on.
and then we can kind of discuss and see if we want to let them. Kind of hobble between the 13 and. What exactly it take for. New to us one.
I don't know if we know any more. Like I said, I don't know if it's, again, I don't know if they want to wait that long. Or-
Hey, right now, as long as our deputy is awful, it's injury, I mean, it's when he comes back in the end of May that's gonna be the problem. But this will take a while for this vehicle to get decommissioned and upfitted when we buy it. It could take 2 to 3 months for that to happen. The one that we bought in December, just now went down there to get upfitted now. So we're 3 months into having that vehicle set on our lot, we need to get it in. But if we buy this thing tomorrow, it probably won't be till June, July before it even gets on the road.
I mean, and then go along with that, it's guys selling these cars every day, and he gives you a price for a car. In 30 days, it may not be there, and we might find something better, you may be going backwards, so.
I guess,
They have got the tariffs up and going, so I mean, we're not gonna get any Chinese cars cheap for a while. So it's gonna probably create havoc for these.
No, we don't want it either.
Well, it's just gonna create, the used car market's gonna be tight. If we take out the new Chinese cars, then it just means that the used market's gonna go up. Not gonna get cheaper.
my concern is. What role are we playing in this? Are we telling them? Sure, go ahead. I mean, that's not an official yes or no give today. Or just like, hey, you've got 75 in your. Car item budget. Go for it and then come back in July and say,
I'm gonna
hey.
spend as little of that as I have to, because I want the new ones come to June, and I need the rest of that to buy that new one, so it up it is, so.
Then you come back in June and ask for public safety for the difference. I mean, I don't know what our role is today.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean,
it
you
could,
make good points. It might be gone tomorrow too, so. And it's gonna take you 2 months to get it.
I just want y'all to know and have your blessing to do it. I mean, I think we've got a lot of vehicles. I mean, like that Silverado, the 2015, it should go down next year, not this year. Put out 30. Because again, it's got 180,000 mile, or call it 175, but by next year it'll have 190 and that doesn't seem like a lot of miles maybe for a standard vehicle, but for a police vehicle it is.
well, I don't, I mean, it sounds to me like if we put it on the agenda next month, it's going to be okay. So while we can't do anything this month.
But you can give him his blessing to go ahead and get it, put it on there next month and we'll approve it.
Well, we're not, again, we don't. He's got a budget and.
Maybe we approve an extra 20 from safety next month.
Yeah.
Or whatever it costs. Approve 25 for. To add to his,
Right.
from this public safety.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's got a budget. And it sounds like we're going to be in support next month, so.
I mean, you want to take a straw poll on people's feelings and. If you don't like the idea, I guess speak up now.
I mean, I don't even know if you need to vote. I just want to
I'm
have
thinking-
them feel that there's a blessing. here.
Yeah, well, we're
That
really,
if I move forward with
Yeah.
buying this, that come July when this new one comes in, June, that you're just gonna say, no, you can't have that. Because we need that vehicle too. I
Well, we
mean,
really can't fire you, Andy.
I know you can't. I don't want, I spend, it's just not gonna go on a spending spree though, is what I'm telling you. I'm trying to be frugal with the money and buy only what we need and understand that you all know that and.
yeah,
Like I said, it's my opinion, the cars are not gonna get cheaper
Agree.
with the tariffs. I think that things are gonna start increasing.
Bull was saying, I'm gonna go move forward with this, and then we'll keep our fingers crossed that y'all good with this in June.
when, will you have a number for us next month?
I can tell you exactly what we'll call. I mean, I can get up, the upfitter and find out what equipment we will need. and find out what it's gonna cost me to put it in.
We're kind of like grants over here. Just wait and see.
I mean, there's some couple local grants maybe we can look at.
It sounds to me like you'll have support next month when you have a number, so,
At least come June, July, when that starts,
yeah.
that's all I have. It took a long time, that's all I got.
Yeah.
Just.
All right. If we're done with the sheriff's report, that gets us to the state's attorney.
Great job, she keeps.
Do you have a full-time assistant now?
May 1st. Thursday, May 1st.
That gets us down to animal control. Andrew?
Corey's got cameras going for us now, moved over. And highway helped put up our sign for meters today. Bless them, because they did it in the rain. So we're looking better and good out there, and nothing to complain about really right now.
You sent that to me, send me a picture.
Yes, I did take a picture the day after
Yeah.
they got it up, but
That's good.
didn't get it emailed out for everybody to see.
So did you have the electrical?
There's no electric on it, but the sign is up.
Okay, are you doing electrical? You're just gonna let it be?
Full part of it.
Okay.
Corey's just waiting on, for the cameras. Terry Shrive was supposed to come. He's gonna put an outlet upstairs, or not upstairs, but in the upper part, because he's got an extension cord ran, but the cameras are already going, so they're in use. And we just have an outlet. Let them use them eventually. I'm gonna come to the board probably next month with a resolution. You guys know we have the anti-crime fees for the sheriff's office. We also have one for the police department as tickets are written and we plead out cases. There's a contribution made to those funds. And if they write tickets and information, I'm gonna ask for a resolution to be able to put some of that anti-crime money on her tickets in our own fund so that it doesn't feed that for the sheriff.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
Yep.
That gets us to highway business, Danny.
April 25th, IDOT's gonna bid out the next Route 130 resurfacing project from Jasper County line to Mack Avenue. They'll also be redoing some bridge deck repairs on the Fox River Bridge there on 130 at the Mount Gilead intersection. And that's the project, while they're working on that bridge deck, and they have the intersection closed, they're going to build a concrete apron for us on Mount Gilead Lane. So if everything goes well, they bid it April 25th, they'll probably be under construction around Memorial Day or shortly after they'll actually get started. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Any rumors about sidewalk on that highway resurfacing project, or is that?
There's no, well, I don't know if there's any sidewalk on it. I can inquire and find out. They're stopping at Mack Avenue. And, so I don't think there's nothing in there, right? From Mack north, there's nothing.
From from basically the college north. But, you know.
The way the state, I'll find out if they have anything on the contract for that. The way that the state handles sidewalks through the cities, if the city wants to have sidewalk, they'll usually have like a joint agreement with the city, and they'll get it built if the city agrees to maintain it. And there might be a city contribution, but I have no idea if they put that on the contract, but I'll find out. One other little thing I will mention about, they're also bidding out a tree removal contract along Route 130. Because I have got inquiries at my office about some of the trees up there around Burner Lake and different places behind the guardrail, makes it hard to see. So they have that out in April. They're gonna take bids to get those removed. So I don't know if anybody's talked to you about it. They've got the new gym up there by Burner Lake, and people have trouble seeing to pull out because there's trees behind the guardrail there on the state highway. The state's supposed to get that taken care of.
All right, thank you, Danny. Well, that gets us to board committee reports, IT.
Corey did mention, he sent us a little email and some stuff he's been working on. One thing that I'll talk about is the website traffic he talked about. It's like the website is being used according to Corey's data. About 4,400 different views, 40% of those being related to elections are on April 1st. 1,800 unique views, so people will look at the first time, then over 500 files downloaded, so it's getting utilized, which is good. He's been doing a little bit of work with some fax systems, animal control, health office, all kinds of things, so that's about all I got from IT, unless Corey's still listening, he wants to jump up.
I am, and the one thing I wanted to mention, specifically with the health office, because they were so close in proximity to the courthouse, instead of getting an internet service provider over there and then moving all of their phone services over there, we decided to trim up some expenses with the health office. So we are just going to do a wireless bridge between the courthouse and the health office. So that will allow a few different things to happen. Number one, we have much better control over the network, which is, the health department network. So it's important to have security there. Historically, we've had very little control outside of just workstation security software. So that's going to be improved. And then we can consolidate their phone lines under our CTS contract, which drops their phone bill substantially. And then one second. Yeah, and then as far as their ISP, their internet service, they will obviously be consolidated under the county's ICN, which is paid for by our agreement with ICN for the White Room. So we did save them quite a bit by them again just being in close proximity to the courthouse. And I do know, I just wanted to bring this up, Danny, I talked to Shelby and I talked to Blake. And I know you guys have had a lot of issues out there at the highway department. If we can get away with something similar there, where we can do a direct link to the courthouse, that's a lot bigger ask than, say, the health office, where it's like line of sight. But I understand you have some tower work being done here in the near future. So when they're up there doing the tower work, we're going to see just how far the line of sight carries from the top of your tower out there. And if possible, we may be able to improve your services by doing pretty much the exact same thing that we're doing at the health office. And other than that, yeah, I've been a busy bee, but that about covers it.
Starbucks has started, you can see really nice in the sidewalk. And that has started. The a lot, which will be closest to the hotel, so west of where Starbucks is actually for sale. So, and it's whatever it is, it has to benefit the college or the students in some way, so. Anyways, so hopefully we'll get some traction on something going on there. Whitefoot subdivision, and they started the construction of the Philippine home now. They had a open house a couple weeks ago, for one of the homes, and now they started with there, so that seems to be continuing and going well. Okay. That's it. Questions?
Speaking of the new homes, I think, help me with these numbers, but how many new homes did we have last year? Do you recall in the city?
Oh, gosh.
Either,
Two or three.
either way, like we're on pace for
Yeah.
doubling that easily this year.
And I think that there have been at least 5 permits pulled for houses in one division. So, which is great.
So increasing tax base, but not for 5 years. It's out there.
eventually.
Okay, so. All I've got.
All right. Thanks, Shelley.
Insurance committee. You guys have any?
No, just wanted to check in. I do have a couple of quick dates for you. IPMG, the program manager for the ICRMT insurance program. They, a few years ago, tried to transition to statewide department head conferences on things like employment practices and work comp. And they are now switching back to what we really prefer is a regional system. And they're having an employment practices seminar on May the 12th in Collinsville, which I know is not right in the neighborhood, but hopefully it's closer than going to Springfield or farther up north. It's really a benefit to the department heads, and we'll be getting some information out, or they will, to everyone. The other date I wanted to mention is our Center for Risk Management Conference this year, September 24th in Peoria, and we'll be getting dates out for all of the department heads. But as always, if you have any questions or concerns, feel free to let us know. We also talk a little bit in the finance committee, or Steve and I talk about policy handbooks updates. We're happy to help facilitate that with the ICRMT's attorneys. The General Assembly is busy every year passing new mandates, so we do recommend at least every 2 to 3 years to try to run it up the flagpole with legal and make sure that we're up to snuff on what the General Assembly is requiring. So we're happy to do that too. Any questions or concerns that you all have?
All right,
But
thank
that's what we do.
All right, thank you.
All right, that gets us to old business, ARPA. Steve, do we have any?
Minimal activity, basically, again, things that we had already agreed to, paying rent, and then earning interest. So we had a balance at the end of March, $63,049.29. And again, the bulk of that is for, the rent, prepaid rent that we'll be making once we move to the new location for the health office.
Thanks, Steve. Anybody have anything under new business? That gets us to executive. I look for a motion.
Motion to go into executive session.
And second,
Gotcha.
all those in favor?